Hey everybody, welcome
Hi.
back. Look who we have here. We have Tammy from Mtn Grandma, welcome in. And we have LeAnne from the Mennonite Farmhouse.
Hello.
Whoop, whoop. How are you ladies doing today?
Hello.
Whoops. Doing good. How are you?
Doing good, thank you. We're waiting on they say snow tomorrow, an inch. I mean, I want a killer snowstorm because there's nothing better than sitting in the house, forgetting about my goals, and I'm being honest, and just sitting and watching. I have a front window that I can see from my couch, so I just sit there and watch it, and I really miss that this year. So
yeah, we haven't had enough of it either. We're supposed to get snow tomorrow too. 30% chance. So
yeah, ours is 40.
Crossing fingers. We need the snow. It is dry here. That's what fills our lakes and all of the. We have here what's called tanks, and it's they. Do you guys have tanks where you're at?
I don't have one, but if you are a little further out of town, we have a well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's cistern wells where you have to fill up the tanks.
Oh, I have a cistern, but I'm in a different kind of tank. So they're like what you all have in the Midwest, like a pond, but they build up huge berms around them so that the water collects from snows and runoff, and that feeds the deer and the elk out in the woods and stuff. And we got a lot of tanks that are dry. It's really for wildlife more than anything. But we need.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah, I worry because, and I'm sure you have the same concern, is the wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
The wildfire, I can't think of the right word. The risk in the spring because of when lightning comes. Lightning strikes usually cause some issues. I'm going to go to the chat real quick. So we've got Tammy from Rebel Canners. We've got Rebecca Davis, Nick from Arizona Highland Homestead. Welcome in, guys. Hello, Laura Hedgehog's Homestead. Hello, Where to Begin Homestead. Uncle Al's in the house. Hello, Die Bullfrog 79. Hello, Charlie at Fallen Arkansas Veterans. Danny from Wicked Awesome Gardener is listening in. Please drive safely. So we're going to get going. So for those of you who haven't been here before, this is a quick and dirty 1 hour hardcore shut off live. We don't go long, and that's because we try to pack as much info as possible into it. So 7F Goal Series, I have a banner on the bottom of the screen, so that way you guys can see what it's all about. It's setting goals in each of those areas so you can be more productive and find balance. We hold this series on my channel this week, then next week on Mtn Grandma, and then back to my channel, and it's always Tuesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So next week we'll be on Mtn Grandma's for her series, and I usually post on my community page when we're going to be on her channel. So just to catch everybody up, hope everybody's doing well. So today we have LeAnne from Mennonite Farmhouse.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. We're happy to have you. And so we're going to talk to LeAnne a little bit about some goal setting. And I know that she did a video on a planner. So why don't you tell us about your planner and your planning video? And I'm going to post the link up there for you.
Well, this is a cheap $20 planner. Most planners are like, what, $30, $40, $50? This is great for anybody that's a housewife, gardener, or a Christian. It's all in there. You can put your meal planning in there or what you did eat and find, inspiration for what you don't have a clue what you're going to have. You have it down in here. And it can be run like a journal. It's whatever you want it to be. And there's chapters for your faith, and you can actually mark down each chapter of each book as you read it in there. So you can go back in 5 years. Oh, I did read Revelations and understand what the time is going to be. It is all right there for you. That's what I love about planners.
Awesome. Can you share like some blank pages?
Yeah.
Like hold it up and let us see. You've got me curious.
Before you do that, I just wanted to say I did miss a couple people in the chat and I feel bad. So I just want to say hello to Callie Homesteading and hello to Barb's Country Home. Go ahead, LeAnne.
Well, there's like, the first section is just your basic week-to-week calendar and monthly calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's a section on home foods where you can actually write down your meal plans for the month. And then there's a section on what you're actually putting in your inventory in your pantry. Like I just use it to write down what I've canned to give me an idea from year to year. Am I canning too much or not enough of each thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a spot in that section to write down recipes that I just come up on the fly with. And my husband will say, oh, we'll never have it again. Well, if I write it down here, I got proof that I made it and go back to it. And then there's a section on gardening. It has you writing down what type of seed it is, what variety it is, where you actually bought it. Because how are you going to remember in 2 years where you got a certain seed and how much of it? And I actually like to put down how much it cost versus how many seeds you got. And then it has a spot for your actual garden. And you can actually put where in each part, a layout of where you actually put in each row. And you can write down, I actually write the date I planted it, which date I might harvest it. That way, during the winter, when I have nothing better to do, I can analyze what I did right or what I can execute better next garden season.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Yes. This is why I wanted the planner so bad, is just to journal my garden. Because the first couple of years, I was just like, granted, I have a farmer for a husband, and his family did produce all their lives, but I'm an analytical thinker. I need to know my numbers and what my yields are. And I'm just curious. Go ahead, Lisa.
I was going to say, oh, never mind. I found it. So you go ahead. I'm posting the link for the planner in the chat. So I posted your video for the planner because it goes in depth. I'll post the link to the planner also, but the link is in LeAnne's video. And I will also post Mtn Grandma's link to her channel. Sorry, my brain's working real slow.
And also, here's a spot where you can actually record your yields. I guess this is for canning. Your yields of what you canned. But I'm sure you can write in there your poundage for like how many pounds of potatoes you harvested and which variety, and each variety if you had different. So then there's a section on cleaning. And it probably hasn't been filled out yet.
Oh my gosh, there's a section on cleaning too?
You can break down each room and what you want to clean in each room for each quarter of the year. So this is why January through March is blank, right? So you can say wash windows, wash the walls, the trim, the detail cabinets for the kitchen. I mean, as long as you have it open and it's visible, that's the key. That's what I studied from planning videos that I've watched before I even did my planner, is that, some people have to have it right there. Then you can have another plan on cleaning, just like week by week. Then you can actually write out every person in your family, their sizes of clothes, like their pants, their underwear, their bust size, and all that in clothing.
Wow.
And inventory, like Sunday girl dresses, their slips, their nightgowns, their sweaters, their jackets. Like, this goes into depth.
Now, what was that for the clothes about? Was that
Hey,
for
Country Mama?
Sizes or?
Sizes.
Oh,
like how many? Like, it goes across the side here. 2T, 3T, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Like it. it micromanages
Mhm.
you.
Yep.
Even though I never understood that term in college.
Mhm.
But you
Yeah.
can do that with adult clothes and clothes that you might need. You can just write this down here saying, summer's coming. We might need some new swimming suits or something like that. And then there's a page for sewing projects. Like for me, I need 3 more
Yes.
dresses just because I
Mhm.
need dresses. Then the
Mhm.
next section is the inspiration section. And this is how you can mark down each chapter of each book of the Bible.
Hang on, LeAnne. Let me move you over.
Oh, I'll get the big screen.
Yeah, she saw me going like this. Oh, that's awesome.
So you can easily mark down. Yes, I read the whole book of Psalms,
Yeah.
and there are some of these I can't pronounce. Elizabeth, I can't pronounce that one.
I love that.
So that I think is. Then there's a spot. Well, I guess the first half was Old Testament. This is the New Testament. Then there's a section where you can just write down scriptures that you want to memorize.
Mm-hmm.
That, or maybe uplift you, and you want to make sure you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a spot just to write down books that you want to read or gift ideas.
Yeah.
Like, I keep on trying to inspire what gifts that I might want to give my husband, because he is terrible for wanting gifts or have a hobby, because he's farming. It's farming meat or sleeping. That's all he does. So to bring something for Christmas for him or his birthday, yeah, it takes a lot. I don't even remember what I got him for Christmas. Oh, I got him an easy chair. And he's taking a nap.
That was a nice gift. I bet he loves that.
It was a lazy boy, and I don't know how we managed to get it under $600. Brand new. But anyway, yeah, he's slept in it every day since Christmas.
Hey, Blue Pixie. Hey, Roberta's Artistic Adventures.
So then there's odds and ends. Like, you can label your totes, and you can actually put a tote number on here, and you can actually write down what is in all those totes. Yes, I know. Really?
Cool.
All right, let me just tell you something. The only time I ever did that, the only time I ever did that, aside from stupid little things, was when we moved to South Dakota, because for the first time, the moving was paid for, so we had movers. Any other time it was us. Let me tell you, you have to take an entire inventory.
But if you take maybe a half an hour, maybe a week, it wouldn't take you long to actually do that. Then when you're older than you, because I can't say when I get to your age, I'll remember where I put something. Because sometimes my mother-in-law says, oh, I don't know where my mother's cookbook is, or the cookie press, or, something you might use once a year.
Right.
You can't,
hey, Acre Farms, DC Outdoors, Roberta's Artistic Adventures.
You don't have to remember where you put it if you just put it in here. And you can keep this, from year to year.
Yeah. Gosh, I'll tell you what, I'm thinking that would be handy, because I will, surplus canned goods and things. I'll put, a date on them for when they should be good until, and then I'll put them in the closet because I don't have room in my pantry. Right. And then, so I've got boxes and, 5-gallon buckets and whatnot that have things that are stored up, and I forget what all I have in there unless I go back there and I look. It'd be nice to have that written down somewhere where you can, take notes and mull it over a little more and look for gaps and things. That would be handy.
Because you always want to have, certain things on hand, and how are you going to remember all this with all the stress in the world?
Yeah.
Right.
Einstein's, my favorite quote from Einstein is, why bother memorizing something if you can look it up? I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
But then there's family information. Like, you should have it listed somewhere in your home where everybody has a list of their allergies and what kind of medications they have, especially for older people. Because what if that person's unconscious and they can't say, hey, I'm allergic to estrogen.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, just a point. I am allergic to estrogen. But, you know, how is your family person going to know that if, you know, you're not that close? So
Right.
it's a good idea to write down your health issues for each person in your home and have it close by.
Absolutely.
So, and there's
Yeah,
also a place for travel, which is blank because, you know, we're farmers. We can't leave.
Ain't that the truth?
Devil's real. I hear
So,
that. Even with gardeners, even like small town, you know, or small time homestead, beginning homesteaders who just have gardens. I mean, that's a challenge right there. Just being able to make sure that garden gets tended to.
yeah, just going on our honeymoon, which was the last time we were away. We had a garden that year, and I had cucumbers and green beans coming in. Oh, it was tragic. And probably tomatoes at that point. So, yeah, there's a section on for things that you need to prepare and pack.
Mhm.
And there's a list for when you have company and overnight guests to write down what you might need to provide for them. Then there's just a spot for you to write down alphabetical lists, which I haven't figured out why we need that. But then there's other just blank sections where you can keep everything in the same place, like you would on your phone. Just hard, you know, somewhere it's easy to get to.
Yeah. And Jamie, no, you're not weird. We're all in the same boat. We all get it.
So yeah,
I'm going to post the planner and LeAnne's link again in Mountain Grandma, and then I'm going to back off for a bit so I can pay attention to the stream because I'm the mod. Just because we keep it packed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing about this planner is it's published by Christian Aid Ministries. And Christian Aid Ministries is, I think they're Mennonite, more or less, because that's where we get all our publications from. But Christian Aid Ministries does humanitarian aid. They're the ones that go on the front lines when, you know, there's fires and all kinds of devastation. So your proceeds, when you buy this planner or anything from Christian Aid Ministry publications, goes towards those funding those projects. Like, I know we have a church family missionarying in Louisiana right now, helping to build homes for that area.
Wow.
Along with their 7 kids.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. I love supporting businesses that I agree with their mission and, you know, how they treat their employees, and faith-based companies are awesome.
So it's nonprofit. So yeah. So that's why I decided to promote this book. And besides, it's very, very practical for me.
Right.
I mean, I even had the author's son comment on my YouTube video.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
I was like, wow. He's like, my mom wrote this book. And I'm like, well, your mom is very blessed to have a skill to be able to produce this planner for us. So yeah, that was like blown away by that comment.
No kidding. That was just incredible. So talk about some of your goals for this year that you feel comfortable sharing and like how they fit into the categories, which are on the screen.
Well, let's see. I don't have any fitness goals, but I probably should.
We all should, I know.
That stands out to me the most. But I think, well, my main goal I'm really passionate about is just trying to get monetized on YouTube. And I think most of us here are. So I'm trying to set up goals to just work one video at a time, which is probably not the right thing. But you just have to set goals and making them achievable. I think, Lisa, you said about making them SMART goals.
Yep.
Set something achievable. Make sure it's
SMART. It's specific.
Oh yeah.
Measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely.
Yes. So I try to use that as a standard of how I set my goals, since I learned about it when I was actually managing McDonald's way back in the day. So, yeah, you just want to make sure your goals are relevant and realistic, and you'll get there. So I need some help.
What?
I don't know. I'm just going blank.
No, you're doing great. I mean, this is the thing. Hey, Lori at LG. So that's the thing. Like people say, all right, I want to get monetized on YouTube. Woo! They're all pumped, right? They're all pumped, and they only look at that. They don't look at below. So what are some of the things, right, that you have to do below that? You have to come up with content. You have to learn how to edit. You have to learn how to do thumbnails. You have to do all this stuff. And those are all the steps that get you there. But if you overlook all those steps, then you're not going to meet your goal of getting monetized, right? Because you have to put out content that people want to watch. So like,
and it's findable.
But it's also, if you're putting out content that people want to watch, you also have to have some faith that it's going to get out there, right? Because the reality of it is, we all know from that 1 to 500, we're not getting pushed much. And so we have to do a really good job to make us stand out, right? Nobody wants to say competition, right? Because everybody thinks that's a bad word in a loving community, but it's the truth, right?
And you got to promote yourself like no one else is going to. You got to stick yourself out there. And it's all about being vulnerable. You just got to get over that and just be yourself and do the best you can from the very start. Like my first video, it wasn't even for my channel. The one I posted for Needy Homesteader channel, I spent a month on that just learning, and I filmed it twice. That, just learning the process and making sure I cared about what I put out there. I think that speaks for more than anything. If my grandchildren, well, that is probably not going to happen. But, if my family in 100 years, like my nephews and my nieces' kids, if they go back and watch that, are they going to actually be proud of me? That is how I look at things. If it's not good enough for now, how is it going to be good enough in the future for somebody to be, yes, that was my family?
Yep. And I think you bring a really good point, right? It's taking that pride and putting what you put out there. And oftentimes, and this is just me talking out loud, right? From my point of view, oftentimes I hear people say like, I don't know how to edit, or I just do one shot and I'm done. I just put it up to be real. My videos are all real, but I spend a lot of time editing, and I'll tell you why. Because I let that camera run while we're working on something. So you're getting reality, but you don't need to hear my husband swearing. You don't need to see us getting hit in the head with a board, right? I'll tell you about it. I'll be honest about it. But a lot of the stuff I cut out, you don't want to watch me doing 8 hours of working on a project. That's the beauty of YouTube, right? Cutting it down. So it's manageable, because my viewers don't have 45 minutes to sit and watch a video. So that's just from my take. That's why I try to keep mine short. And I think it is about pride. LeAnne, you had a question in the chat about what do you use to make your thumbnails or something?
I use mostly Canva, but I'm starting to do my cutouts of me from Pixelmator Pro 2.0, and I'm starting to learn how to do that.
Pixelator or Pixelmator?
Let me look it up. I have to sign in my computer.
Oh yeah, no problem. I don't want to trouble you.
It won't take me very long. Pixelmator Pro 2.0. It's a $20 program that I bought off the Mac store, whatever it's called, iOS store.
Okay, say the name again.
Pixelmator.
BR at the end?
OR.
Okay. Pixelmator Pro.
I know I shared it with you when I bought it.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, man, it's a really cheap version of anything you would have to spend $300 on and then have a monthly fee. It's, one time $20. Well, thank you, Lori. It's just a $20 flat fee for, since I don't have Wi-Fi, why do I need, stock pictures,
Yep. Hello, G Mama Grows.
And I'm constantly looking for videos on YouTube of how to make better thumbnails,
Mm-hmm.
because they're saying the title and the thumbnail is your one shot to get those impressions in.
Yeah, exactly.
And since my channel is growing, I'm getting more and more views, impressions, and I'm thinking, I better be selling it.
Yeah,
it's true. It's business.
Lisa, do you use Canva?
I use Canva, and I use iMovie, and I don't want to make this all about YouTube, but because I want to make sure that we stick to goals. Mm-hmm. But for those of you in the chat who are kind of talking about editing and stuff, editing, I had no idea how to do it. None. Okay, so some of the terms that I learned that really helped me was, if you don't know how to edit, is, it's usually called a clip, is one video clip. You add them together, you can splice them. Transitions are the things you put in between them. And really, it's just about adjusting the clip in general. Okay, because I use iMovie. Some other folks use a ton of other things. But just go do it and don't be afraid. Save the video somewhere else and just get on there and start clipping them, because, it's Filmora, whatever it is you use. But hey, Freddie, Farm and HVAC. He said, I hate electronics. I love them, but I hate them. I love gadgets, but I hate electronics when they don't work. But seriously, anyone can do this. Watch videos on it. That's how we learn. I mean, I know for us, one of our goals now is to bring it to a different level. Now that where we are, we're trying to figure things out, and really take our time with it. But
and I know I've mentioned this on one of your live streams before. The attention span of a person is very short. So some of my
3
clips.
seconds. I remember you saying
3 seconds. Yeah, Tammy was on that panel too. 3 seconds. If it's longer than 3 seconds, forget it. Like, unless there's content, but if it's just watching something, move on.
Yeah. Here, I'll give you a perfect example. I did an experiment recently with a short. I posted a short of Diesel on Instagram, and I had a fellow YouTuber say to me, you need to post that on YouTube. Well, I try not to post my content in both places, because I feel my subscribers should have whatever I post on YouTube as their own, because that's like a benefit for them. I posted a short of Diesel with Anticipation, that song by Carly Simon, on Instagram, and within 5 minutes it had over 15,000 views. It's now up to 15.6K views, 400 and something likes on Instagram. I put it on YouTube. It's got 1,600 and something views and 5 dislikes and I think 70 likes. So you see how they're different animals, right? So and it's like, that's the stuff we're trying to learn now. So that's good points. Talk about what other goals do you have? I know the monetization was big, and I just want to throw out real quick while you're thinking. If anybody wants to check out LeAnne's channel, the link is in the chat. I will also put it in the description box. And she wants people to watch her channel a lot, because she is getting very close to her goal of being monetized. But she does need some people to watch.
Well, I guess.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, wink. So for other goals, I just, need to work on my walk with the Lord. Just with our busy lifestyle, it's not always there. I mean, life gets in the way. So hopefully I can set some goals of just being able to sit down an hour, maybe an hour a week, just to be able to work on devotions. Because,
Yep.
with all this stress in the world, we need to focus on the Lord more than ever. Like, I'm just hearing about suicide rates lately. That just tells you that people aren't walking with the Lord as much as they should. Because if you don't have that one constant that we do have, you need that one constant, because everything else is going to change no matter what. Either it's for the good or for the evil. We need to have that one constant in our lives.
Amen.
So that's why I definitely need to start planning and just focusing on that more.
Mm-hmm.
So and faith also, we just need to, my church is struggling. We keep losing members. Families are leaving, and I honestly don't know why, but maybe I need to focus on being part of my church family more instead of, waiting for my husband to be with me. And, yeah, we, have a ladies circle committee at church, and we get together and work on comforters for Christian aid ministries to send to third world countries. So we have to make that exciting. And with my personality, we get there.
That's awesome.
So, and we also do other community service projects. Like for Christmas, we do fruit baskets, and we donate those to people in the community that are widows, just to make them know that, there are people out there thinking about them. Because, the holidays are just a terrible time when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
So this, and then we also have a ladies' luncheon for widows in May. So I'll need to work on that goal here soon, of setting that up. And we have about 30 older ladies that come to that. And we just sit there and have a good time and worship the Lord with each other and sing songs. And it's a good hour and a half time that, we enjoy doing for them. We thought about doing free soup night, but that might be a little over our heads, because if you mention free meal, people might swarm, especially with Mennonites.
Especially with Mennonites?
I don't know. We have our bishop's family. They set up a bulk food store, so they're getting some business in there. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in the assumption that Mennonites have home cooked food that is really good just because it's home cooked. I don't know.
Oh, I was thinking if you were cooking soup, I'd probably be there. When you said it, so I don't think you're far off the mark that people might swarm.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's my assumptions, but it's really just home cooked food.
You could limit it to like a half an hour of food, providing food, let everybody know, or you could have people have to sign up ahead of time.
Right.
That way, the quantity, and limit it to a certain number.
Yeah, I would just, I guess I had to plan it, set some goals.
Yeah.
Thanks, Blue Pixie.
Hey, Southern Sandy Crafts.
Please.
Yeah, I think that free food in general usually brings a crowd. You know what I mean? I don't know, LeAnne, if you remember when you were in college, or you guys remember when you were in college, like free food, everybody was like swarm, and it could have been donuts. Right?
Especially Amish made donuts.
Yeah, for sure.
I like what Joni just said. She said, I found that in all the busyness of life, it's so refreshing to spend time waiting on the Lord. And boy, that is the truth. We have to make that time. I had a significantly unproductive day in the woods on Sunday. So Joni, I think that's what we were doing. I mean, we didn't even, I wanted to like put my backpack on and, hike a long ways. So I did do that. I did not leave without doing a little bit of hiking with my backpack on. But the rest of the time we were just listening to the wind flow through the ponderosas and really just enjoying the day and chatting. I mean, we didn't have cell phone service where we were. We didn't even take a whole lot of video, maybe a little bit of video that I'm going to see if I might be able to load up. But I felt like I was super unproductive that day. And I felt a little guilt about that because we were out, we'll go in the woods and we'll be there for hours. I mean, we call it our forest therapy, but that's true because I do feel like we came to a better understanding of where we're at, in regards to us thinking about moving and decisions that we made prior to buying the house that we bought. So it was a good thing. I really like that, Joni. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, Ryan and I had similar on Sunday. We went ice fishing and there was no service at the lake we were at. And I know I had joked with Nick at Arizona Highland Homestead about, he said, Ryan should do a live from ice fishing. And I said, there's no service at any of the lakes,
Mm-hmm.
But you want to know something? It was just such a glorious day to be able to be out there and be disconnected. Hey, Jean Johnson, thanks for being here.
So I want to put my perspective on what Tammy just said about how she thought it was an unproductive day. But that sounds like it was spirit or food for the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Or spirit, it fed something inside you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you have less anxiety from whatever of your world that you were escaping. Because that sounded delightful. Being able, I should be able to just go outside here and enjoy that, but it's just too cold here.
Yeah. And I think, but yeah, and it goes back to what Alicia was saying. It's a lot of the time the sense of family and fellowship, and it was just, the same thing with being out in the woods, or being out on the lake or wherever you are. It was just nice to be able to just be.
Mm-hmm. It was.
And that is productive. Mm-hmm. And it was a wonderful, wonderful day. And it sounds like you had a wonderful day.
Yeah, it was a wonderful day. Beautiful weather. We didn't have a lot of wind. The temperature was, just right. It was in the low 60s. I mean, it was nice. It was a nice day. I had to give myself the okay for that because I'm one of those personalities that feels like I always need to, have a project going, have something, that I'm staying on top of. And I know there's things that need to be done. I've got transplants I need to get done and in terms of the gardening. And I mean, I could go through a list with you guys. I did have to give myself the okay for doing that. And honestly, I probably need to give myself that okay a little more often, to tell you the truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's just nice to focus on that time, and everything else is going to be there.
Oh yeah.
It's ironic because we think that when we're at work, right? When we're at work, we always say, oh, well, we can't get it all done and it'll be there tomorrow. But it's the same with everything else. It'll be there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. My one boss at Wendy's would tell me that her boss, like the guy that was in charge of like 30 different stores, maybe 60, I don't remember. He says, don't leave today's work for tomorrow. Always do today's work today.
Wow.
But when we work for ourselves, I mean, our garden's our garden. Our goals are our goals. That's one thing I try to kind of remind myself of, is that these are my goals. I don't need to convince myself that something is more hugely important than something else. You know what I mean? It's because this isn't just my life. I'm not an island, and none of us are, of ourselves. We have spouses, we have children, we have other things that are going on. And so, I mean, when you're working for someone else, yes, but, You know what I'm saying? Not just, we got to keep that in mind too. It's keeping that balance, I think.
Yeah, that's what I struggle
Something
with.
I'm always struggling with is that balance.
Hey, G Mama Grows. Hello, Cosmic Cultivators. Thank you. But I think the other thing too is, and what you were just talking about speaks to the 7F, right? Because it's all about finding that balance. So, you've got family, friends, fun, fitness, all that stuff that's up on the screen. And it's that day, that one day that you took nourished so many of those areas. And I think that's what LeAnne was trying to say, was that you were indeed very productive because you nourished the other areas that you're ignoring.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, I totally did. Time with hubby. That I have that on my journal, I do like a bullet journal. And I had my bullet journal, all of my stuff. He comes and looks over my shoulder and says, where's time for hubby and all of that? Because he knows my personality and how I'll tend to do. And I said, I'm going to make a line for you. And I'll let us, whether or not you feel I have contributed enough time to you, I'm going to take that into perspective when I fill that bubble in. Because it's a bubble. Like, I have made myself a little bubble chart. But Friday, we went and spent some time with some great friends of ours. She's Jean Johnson. She's on here. So thank you, Jean, for joining. So that's something else. And you're right, Lisa, that day it was time with the hubby. I did get some fitness in and faith, because, when my husband and I, we go out in the woods, we talk about what does God want for us? That's one of our thing is, trying to spend time in thought and meditation on God's word and seek guidance from him. What do we do next? We're kind of on the fence here with being on an acre, but wanting more land. Do we do that now? Do we do that later? We really wish we were getting land somewhere else, but right now it looks like Arizona is where we're going to be for a bit longer. And yep, you're right, Lisa. It definitely helped us in those things.
Absolutely. Hello, Linda Hostetler. Hello, Sammy Bluefeather Homestead. Welcome in. Welcome in. So we're at about 42 minutes, and I wanted to make sure if anybody had questions for LeAnne or Tammy or myself, just put a capital Q and throw your question up, and I will be looking at the chat. But we have plenty of time, but I just want to say we're really enjoying having you here today, LeAnne.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. So what I need to set up a goal for is to actually make time for my husband, because I feel like I'm sucked into this bubble of, trying to
do this, right?
Build my brand and try to keep a clean house and be a slave to my cats. I'm like, and since my husband only has so many minutes in the house, I need to be there for him, and I'm needing to struggle to find, I don't know, what am I even trying to say? Like, I feel like, I'm not spending time with him like I should. And I think, like last night, he had to work on his taxes before they got shipped away, So that was our Valentine's.
Yep.
I made a very nice supper, and that was it. Then I had to go fix the robots at the barn.
Yeah. And, like Lori at LG said, the clean house. Yeah, I gave that up years ago. Like, don't get me wrong, it's clean, but it's not the greatest, but it's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not a museum. And then the same thing with Alicia at Country Mama Musings, completely understand. And that's why some of us have taken a step back. And I think it goes back to when we were talking about like the monetization goals and the goals that we have for ourselves, right? When you're building your brand and you're doing all of this stuff. I know I've had to take a step back, and I take nights off. And it's hard because you want to be there, but at the same time, it's not worth sacrificing my husband. Yeah. It's just not. It's not. So, Ryan is very great at supporting me and being respectful of, some of the, like the Friday Night Lives. He hasn't been on them. He's been really busy. And the last thing he wants to do is a live. He's tired. Mm-hmm. And that makes sense. So let him have it. You know what I mean? But he supports me no matter what. And, it's just, I'm going to put him first. And so that's what I've been trying to do, is get off the lives at night. And I know Alicia and I have talked about this. We try to do lives because I'm on mountain time, right? 5:00 lives are 4:00 here. And so I'm cooking dinner. I'm doing chores with my animals. I don't make them. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel guilty because I need to be there for my husband. And if something comes up, like somebody asked me to mod, I tell him and I have dinner ready ahead of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I try not to do lives every night. I try to take Mondays and Tuesdays off unless it's a live after he's gone to bed. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I found that helped find balance. So I don't know if that's helpful for you, LeAnne. So that way you're not on a live when he comes in.
Well, today I asked him, like, are you going to be home between 1 and 2? He's like, probably not. So I'm like, oh, good. That works. Because when I'm like going here, I'm like, well, I can't just go fix him lunch. So yeah, like I have to find. So with farming, he doesn't know what he's doing from day to day. So I think that's why I'm finding it hard. Like I
have to tell you guys, I don't know if y'all saw me look to the left a minute ago because my husband says, psst, and I'm like, oh, for Pete's sakes. I look over and he said, thank you, ladies.
Tell him to step in for a minute.
He won't.
Come on, Larry.
He's cooking. He's cooking for us right now.
No, and it's true. And Freddie said it good too. And a lot of people are resonating with it. Mm-hmm. The reality of it is you just can't be everywhere. Mm-hmm. And just because you don't see somebody commenting doesn't mean they're not watching your videos, because I'll tell you, I've been running playlists all the time. Ryan will tell you, he comes home at lunchtime. Yeah. The TV, the computer is going.
Yeah.
And you do the best you can.
Mm-hmm. Did you see what Alicia had posted about her friends?
Yep.
It was 2 friends that lost their husbands this past year. And she says, I guarantee you they're not reflecting now, thinking that wishing they had spent more time. There it is. Yeah. That's the real stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like our family, the people we love, that's what's real. And I have preached that part of it to my kids. And as far as like working for someone else goes, just remember what you have at home is real. What you have at work, it's just there for your work time. So I preach it, but then I'll make little projects for myself. And I think we all need reminders. It's so easy to get wrapped up into what you got to do.
And I think, that's, I'm laughing at LG. I'm scrolling back and I saw her comment that said, mine isn't even clean for her house.
Me neither, Lori. And there's 2 of us in here. And I'm like, honey, we did it again. What did we do? We've got a small house. But we love to have fun, and we each have our own little hobbies, and our hobbies will be all over the place. That's how that goes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing too is I think a lot of us are gonna, ghost in a sense when the weather gets warm. Like it's winter now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my husband tried to tell me when the garden's going that YouTube's got to stop. I'm like, we'll take the camera out to the garden. I'm sure I could do lives while I'm pulling weeds, right?
Yeah.
Show people how to pull weeds. I'm sure that's a skill that people
honestly like a work with me video. People like to. I will watch a clean with me video when I'm cleaning. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh, I do it.
Yeah, or watch people do stuff. Lisa's got lots of great videos of them doing work. And Lori over LG Homestead, that's another one where they're just working and they're showing them doing all kinds of stuff. And it's motivating to me. I don't know. I feel like I'm not, we're not the only ones, right?
I've got LeAnne to motivate me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Keeps me on my toes.
Let's get that freeze dryer out. Let's go.
Yeah.
I've used it. I just haven't filmed it yet.
Oh, that's awesome.
but I've used it.
Yeah,
I've
you
done
need to film it.
celery. Let's see.
Quality over quantity with the freeze dryer. Make sure you know what you're doing before you film it.
It's exactly right. That's exactly right. I mean, the other thing is I have to buy produce now to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I'm not going to do all that because that's not what I care to do right now, But one of the things that I've done is we had our produce box. I did cucumber chips in it. We got the initial setup. I did herbs the other day in it. But, I really want to get a feel for it before I say anything, because I honestly don't know enough about it. I really want to get to the point with the leftovers going in there to be able to store it. So I think that's real important. Hey, Joe Serrano.
Yeah, I have a friend that has a freeze dryer, and I'm blessed that they'll let me to use it whenever I want. So now that I'm getting used to it, I'm just like, is it really worth it to be able to have shelf stable food? Because I gave him onions from my brother's produce field. Well, quite honestly, we didn't care for them.
What didn't you like?
They didn't have any flavor. They were like
Wow.
styrofoam.
Huh.
Even when you rehydrated them?
Well, I just threw them in my eggs, like how I would throw them in the Instant Pot with eggs and cook them that way.
Yeah.
I think I put them in with home canned green beans when I reheated them. So I don't know.
Yeah, they say that you're supposed to rehydrate them is what I've heard.
Maybe I don't know what I'm doing to hydrate them.
Or maybe they taste better just good old-fashioned dehydrated instead of freeze-dried.
Because I've done a lot of dehydrated onions.
Some foods that are better one way than the other.
Yep. I mean, I was going to say, I wouldn't normally pick cucumbers per se, but when we ordered our produce box, you don't know what's coming in it, right? And so we had like 4 or 5 of these long English cucumbers, and I'm like, what am I going to do with these?
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like when I got fennel. I'm not a fan of fennel, but it came in my box, so I dehydrated it before I had the freeze dryer. So that's what I did with the chips. I threw some seasoning on it, and they were actually really good, and I ate them all. But one of the things I'm trying to learn about it, which is part of my goals, is, they talk about not letting the air get to it, right? And they talk about using oxygen absorbers. So one of the things that I have to get acclimated to is, think about it. I'm not going to put it all in a Mylar bag if I'm going to be eating it, like the chips.
Yeah.
I put it in a Ziploc bag. It seemed okay. It wasn't in there too long, so that was fine. But like the spices, I didn't put an oxygen absorber in there because I was thinking, well, you're going to keep opening them. The oxygen absorber is going to go bad because they say if it's exposed to the air too long. Hey, Lala Farm. But does that make sense? Like the struggle I'm trying to learn about, how much air can it get? Because they're saying if it gets air, it ends up getting more moisture. So I don't know. It's still in the experimental stage.
But you have your friends to help you push your goals.
Yep.
I wanted to speak to a comment that Frugal Mom Down Under made about just trying to achieve balance, and she just mentioned that that's something she's really struggling with. Where is her comment? She said, where is it? That she feels like she's kind of, I'm going to have to just paraphrase it because I can't. Is this it? Yes, that's it. Thank you, Lisa. I just want to encourage you not to give up, Frugal Mom. I have totally been there. And I believe it or not, even though I speak to balance is something that I struggle with in an ongoing fashion just because of my personality and kind of the way that I think. But I am definitely better than I was even 3 years ago. I know 3 years, some people might be like, holy cow. I legit was in that spot. So just don't give up. I think that recognizing it is the first place to be and looking for what you can change. Because for me, it was time away from home working. and then I had to work at home because we had a family run business too. So it was the working. It was just constant and completely out of balance. And my husband and I kind of both getting together saying, I kept saying, I need a lifestyle change. I need a lifestyle. We need a lifestyle change. And he's like, what? And he hated that catchphrase because I kept saying it too. So, I mean, don't give up and keep looking for opportunities to push yourself into a place of balance. Even if it means, I don't know if you work outside of the home, or I work from home, but still outside of the home. I work remotely. But even if it means you need to balance out your work life a little more to fit in some of your work life for your family, whatever you got to do.
Hey, Mickelson family. Oh, sorry, Tammy, go ahead.
That was it. Don't give up. That's all I want to encourage you to do.
The Lala Farm said that was really great feedback. Mickelson Family Homestead, welcome in. And Joe Serrano had a question for you.
Yeah, I'm reading it. I don't know any Mennonites around my area that make cheese besides me. And it's because my mother-in-law helps me make cheese. Is he talking about farmer's cheese? Yeah.
Joe Serrano, is that farmer's cheese you're talking about? I'm waiting on Joe. So we are a little under 4 minutes before we end. Any questions for LeAnne or questions about the goal setting? Because we will be stopping on the hour. And next week we will be on Mtn Grandma's channel at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will post it on my community page when she posts her live, just so you guys are aware. And that's a lot, Frugal Mom. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Good for you. Mm-hmm. It's a lot to do.
And one thing
sounds like she needs a planner like LeAnne has.
And one of my tips for motivating myself to clean when I just don't feel like cleaning, set a timer for 15 minutes or maybe even 10 and see how much you can get done. Like, or time yourself. How long is it going to take you to empty that dishwasher and refill it? That motivates me when I'm thinking about it. Or watching an episode of Hoarders. Let me tell you, that gets me motivated.
That will.
Really? I watch that, and you know what ends up happening? I go right down a hole watching the rest of them because I can't believe it.
Oh no! Like 15 minutes in, I am gone. I'm gonna go make sure.
Another one. Just try to video. Put your camera on, and looking at your house through the lens of your camera makes you recognize a mess you didn't even realize you had. I mean, you know about the mess, but it's totally different.
Yeah, going to other people's houses, I'm like, man, my house is cleaner than this, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I think. I want to go clean other people's homes, but if I go to my own home, yep, I'm comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Lori at LG said, take note that we show videos of us working outside the house, not cleaning the house.
I saw that too. That was fun.
Joe said it's before they'd sell it here in the downtown, farmer's cheese. Now they have a deal with Costco.
I think farmer's cheese is, I'm sure my mother-in-law knows how to make it. I think it's easy. Don't hold me to that.
And Lala Farm made a really good point. So true.
Mm-hmm.
Last week I fell down the hole. I'm not doing it this week. But yeah, setting timers is absolutely. I was talking to LeAnne earlier, and I was running around trying to get stuff done, emptying the dishwasher and putting stuff away, wiping counters down, that kind of stuff. And it felt good because it was to get it all done before we started. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Monica Bland.
I should make a goal instead of being on somebody's live at, wait, I can't do that Friday nights or Saturdays. But anyway, before I go to bed, Saturday. Every other Saturday and every Friday, but all other nights, I should take 15 minutes before I go to bed and clean my kitchen counters down and make sure that there's, everything's put away. Because as soon as supper's ready or done over, my husband puts the food away because he's so nice. I just go straight for that armchair. But why? When I should be cleaning. Because if you have a clean counter, you're so much more productive. And what happens when you have a clean spot for productivity? You get stuff done.
That's true.
So true. So true. That goes back to this whole mess back here that we've talked about. In fact, I put all the ice fish and stuff away because we had to wait for it to dry, except for the hut down there because I got to open it. But I tried to put all that away too. Well, guys, we are at over an hour, so I wanted to cut it short so we can get going. But just again, thank you, LeAnne, for being here today. Really appreciate all the feedback you gave us.
Well, thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it.
And I think you gave us a lot to think about. Thank you to Tammy for her ongoing support. After this live, I will put the link to LeAnne's channel and the link to her planner video. I'll do the link to her planner video and the link to the planner itself in the description box. So thank you so much, everybody. Hope you all have a great day. Thank you. And if you ladies will stay on for just a minute, but take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week.
Yep. Good luck with your house, Lori.